Okay, so my computer is showing noon, so I guess we can go ahead and start. So again, my name is Mike Sullivan. I'm Director of eLearning here at Middlesex County College. What we're going to do in this little kind of webinar is just kind of quickly answer, debunk any myths associated with distance learning. And then from there, we're going to jump into Canvas and show you guys kind of navigating and kind of day in the life of a student, just submitting assignments, where you can find your grades, those kinds of things. I promise this won't be a snooze fest, at least I hope it won't be, and we'll kind of go from there. So what I'll do is I'll start this PowerPoint, and I promise it won't be death by PowerPoint, and we'll skim through it as quickly as possible because I know you guys are all busy and on lunch. My goal is to hopefully end like 12:35 to 12:45, and then if you have any questions afterwards, go ahead and type them in the chat box. Like I said, Christine's answering any questions. She's part of our office as well, and she can kind of get to that while I can kind of keep moving through here. All right, so that being said, let me jump into this presentation. I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint, so bear with me here. So this presentation, I just registered for an online course. Now what? So, I'm going to go through a whole bunch of myths versus facts and kind of answer any questions that you could possibly have in regards to distance learning. So the first myth that we're kind of coming up with is online courses are easier than face-to-face courses. Well, actually, that's not true. Online courses are challenging as face-to-face courses are, just a different way of taking that. If you do have a microphone, if you can mute it, that would be awesome. That way, background from different people. And then, so anyway, basically with distance learning, you're kind of, it's a different kind of modality. Basically, when you are doing an online course, things take a little bit more time. You're not getting that instantaneous feedback. So say, say an instructor asks you a question, well, of course you're going to raise your hand, right? Well, in the online realm, basically what happens is your instructor might pose a question in the discussion forum, and then you can go ahead and answer questions within the discussion forum. If you're looking for a reply or anything like that, everything is not instantaneous. It's not what we call a synchronous kind of environment. So that being said, let's go to the next slide here. When do we meet? So basically with your online course content, there is no specific time that you have to meet. Basically what happens is your instructor gives you an assignment, and then from there you have a due date. So that means you don't wait until like maybe the last week of class or maybe the last day of class and you try to tackle all of your coursework then because you're going to go crazy, you're not going to do well, and then also your instructor doesn't allow it. So what happens is your instructor sets up due dates throughout the semester. You might have an assignment due, say, next Friday at midnight, or say maybe Sunday at midnight. That way kind of everyone's kind of going along a set path. That way you're not kind of all over the place, and it saves your instructor time as well as it helps them keep the hair on their head. Not like me, and so they can actually kind of progress and help you. They know where you are exactly, and they can kind of assist you in the best way possible. Next slide here, when do classes start and end? So online course sections and start and end according to Middlesex County College's academic calendar. In some cases, we've gotten a lot of questions, well, how come I can't access my course beforehand? Well, the simple answer is this: you wouldn't go to a face-to-face classroom, sit in the room, and 2 weeks ahead of time and just wait for the class to begin. So that's kind of the thinking with some of the courses. They might be closed until the start date today. Of course, typically we get questions, well, how come I can't see anything in my course right now? The course has started. Well, that being said, some of your instructors, well, at Canvas, there are some who are still learning. And what happens is basically they might not have published their course. So they might say, hey, get your resources here in Canvas. And if you don't see their course, it means they have not enabled their course. They have not published it. If that's the case, if you want, you can reach out to us, send us an email with your course name, number, say ENG112-IN. And what we can do is we can reach out to the professor and say, hey, look, your course isn't published yet. Let's publish that. Let's go, So also in regards to the course ending, so what happens, Canvas is set to kind of shut down the last day of the semester. 9 times out of 10, your instructors will extend your course date. So say there is any incomplete work, your instructor can enable the course to stay open longer. So again, if you don't see the course, if it's shut down, say at the end date, reach out to us and we can reach out to the instructor and make sure that you're able to see everything. Next slide here. What skills do I need in order to successfully take an online course? Well, there's a little bit of technical competency. You have to be at least somewhat familiar with a computer, being able to navigate around, open up a simple browser, navigate to a site, also using, say, desktop publishing, Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or even, I think WordPerfect is actually kind of still out there. I know Open Office is as well. You can definitely take advantage of all of that.
Yeah.
Pretty much really all you need, and maybe know how to use a mouse, or depending on if you are submitting your papers via a tablet, just competency in navigating around and saving your files. Also, you need the self-discipline. You can't sit there and try to get all of your work done, say, Sunday night at 11 o'clock when everything is due at midnight. The best rule of thumb, what I did when I was in grad school, my degree was kind of half online, half face-to-face. I would kind of do my work, a little bit of work every day throughout the week. That way I wasn't kind of struggling at the very last minute to get all the work in and then submitting it at the last minute. Spend 3 to 4 hours a week, maybe 45 minutes here, an hour here, and you should be good to go. Also, you need good time management skills, manage your time effectively in order to meet your coursework deadlines. So yeah, just be kind of aware. If you're someone who procrastinates and waits to the very last minute all the time, maybe distance learning might not be the best thing for you. I do procrastinate, but when I do sit down, I kind of get focused and I'm ready to get going. Also, proficient reading skills. Most of your content will be online, so it's important for you to read over instructions carefully. Prime example of this is, say you go to take a quiz for distance learning. My phone keeps ringing here. If you do take a quiz in the online environment, say you click into it accidentally, I would suggest reading the syllabi first, because there are some instructors, say if you accidentally click into a quiz and it starts, they will not give you a makeup. Basically, your grade is what you get there. So please read over your syllabi. If you have any questions regarding the syllabi, now is the best time to reach out to your instructor. Also, if you have any kind of accommodations, reach out to your instructor. That way you're not coming to the course, say the day of a quiz starts, and you need extra time or whatever. Well, your instructor might not be around to kind of set that, and then therefore you miss the deadline, and it starts an avalanche or a chain of events that might not be good. But of course we do honor accommodations, so don't stress out about that. Next, so there is a Canvas app for mobile devices. I have seen it. It is a student app. It is quite nice. The app is primarily for it's more of like a read-only kind of thing. So if an instructor posts up videos or say a PDF, something to read, it's great. But in some cases, what happens is, some work can't be submitted via mobile app. Most of it can be. Phone's going crazy here. So basically, what you would do is you would submit the work. I suggest if you're doing it, do it on the computer if you can. Small little things, yeah, you could do in the App Store. But for the most part, do it on the computer. You can get it via Google App Store. You can get it Google Play. Unfortunately, there is no app for the Surface. You know that. So keep that in mind. The app is quite nice. It does have some good stuff. It's probably one of the better apps out there that I've seen. I've been in a couple of institutions. Blackboard is I know previously Campus Cruiser, whatever we had here beforehand, there was no app. So the app is quite nice. Definitely take advantage of it. It pushes out notifications for grades, if there's any messages your instructor sends out, different things like that. It is pretty nice. So what are the technical requirements to participate in an online course? So yeah, if you have Windows 7 or iOS 7, if you've got iOS 7, you're fine. Mac OS 10, you should be okay. Linux, Chrome OS, I don't really see too much for Linux on here. I'm sure if you have a decent browser, you should be okay. Also, browser, you want to make sure that you do have, you're using Chrome or you're using Firefox. In Explorer, there's some issues. Also with Safari as well, they're kind of on a different architecture. So just bear that in mind when you are kind of going in there. If you're running into a problem, the first thing we're going to ask is, well, what browser are you using? Are you using Internet Explorer? Well, that could be part of the problem. Also, you need a steady internet connection. If you're typing a paper or doing a quiz, if you're kind of on a sketchy kind of connection, it could possibly crap out. Make sure you're on a good steady connection. I know, if I'm at home, I have a great connection. But if I'm, say, at a coffee house, if I'm at Starbucks, or if I'm at Barnes & Noble or something, it could be sketchy and it might drop out. And so what could happen is, unfortunately, there's no autosave when you are, say, typing a paper, or if you're taking a quiz, it will not autosave kind of what your current answers are. So bear that in mind. Next question, how do I protect my work? So let's see here, to avoid mishaps that affect your ability to complete your coursework. Yeah, make sure you back up your work regularly. All of you have access to Office 365 and OneDrive. That's typically where I, believe it or not, I do all of my work in OneDrive. That way I can kind of jump from computer to computer and I know my work is there. I think the college gives you 1 terabyte of space, which is a huge amount. As long as you're not like slapping movies up there that you may be downloading from BitTorrents or whatever, you should be okay. So bear that in mind, back it up. Like I said, there's no autosave feature in Canvas. So where should I do my online coursework? So, you know, it's up to you. Typically, if I were doing any work, I typically go home and do it, make sure I'm in a quiet kind of area. I have 3 kids, so my house is just pure chaos daily. Morning, noon, and night until the kids go to bed. That's pretty much time I will not be online, being on the computer, doing coursework. Usually I wait for them to go to bed. Also, it's saying here to use a quiet, clutter-free location with a reliable Wi-Fi internet access, which is true. I mean, if you're sitting in some kind of cluttered area, you know, it's not kind of prone to providing good output from you, just because environment is a big factor when you are doing your coursework. Also, turn off your cell phone. I know the need might kind of arise for you to check Snapchat, check your messages, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, you know, it's a distraction. Trust me, I do it too. Social networks are kind of they're a curse, but they're a cool thing. So just bear with, you know, plan to just be off for, say, half an hour or so, or 45 minutes, and then you can jump back on and see what's going on with the rest of the world. Maybe with the Kardashians, I don't know. So anyway, what else here? How do I plan my time to complete assignments and tests? Well, you know, take the time, make sure you kind of allot yourself some time during the week. I'll have to designate a couple hours each week to do my work. Again, like we said before, don't wait until the last day to begin an assignment and start working on it. Also, yeah, don't wait till the last minute to take an online exam. Say an exam, you have till 11:59 to take your exam. Do not log in at 11:58, because what will happen is the exam will automatically submit, you know, say at midnight that night. Doesn't matter if you've just started working on it. Allow yourself plenty of time when you are taking the quiz. What else do we have here? How do we talk to each other? Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. Like I said, you know, in the online environment, it's a little bit different. It takes a little bit longer because you're not getting that instantaneous feedback. So, you know, you're not raising your hand and you're getting feedback right away from your professor. It could take a day or two for your professor to respond to you or your classmates. There is a messaging tool in Canvas. It's very stripped down, very straightforward. It's kind of like Facebook Messenger, if you've ever seen that. There's no bolding. You can't do different things. You can't add GIF files for memes or anything like that. It's just a straight up text you can type, and you can even attach something if you want. But typically you don't want to attach a paper via messaging. There is a tool in Canvas where you can attach papers. Also, be respectful. I know in this day and age, you know, especially with political or religious views or whatever, you know, if you disagree with someone, it's not a point to shame someone, to bully someone into what you think is wrong or right. Be respectful. You know, you want to kind of put yourself in that person's shoes or in someone else's shoes when you are replying to that person. So be respectful, be kind, be courteous. If you disagree, respectfully disagree, and then that's it. Don't know. Flame words in capital letters, no cursing, whatever. Just online etiquette, just be respectful, be thoughtful of each other. You know what, if someone has a different opinion of you, you know, discuss it. Don't sit there and my way is this way and then that's it. You know, it's always great in this day and age. Unfortunately, we don't hear dialogue where one side versus the other. So, you know, bear that in mind when you are doing the discussion forum. And so how do I get help when I need it? Okay, so if you have questions about course content, you probably want to email your instructor, because unfortunately we have probably about 400 to 500 courses here in Canvas. So for us to know what each instructor is doing personally, it's impossible for us to keep up. We're a department of basically 2.5. So, you know, we support probably 9,000 people in the online environment, and then along with about 500 faculty adjuncts, it gets to be kind of crazy. So, you know, any kind of content, any kind of issue like that, reach out to your instructor. If you're having kind of a technical issue, you can email us. We'll do our best to help you out. And if it's something, say, maybe something is broken or something isn't set right, we can reach out to your instructor and say, hey, Johnny reached out to us. We can verify that something is not right. Either can you extend them this courtesy or whatnot, and we'll be able to help you out. If you wait till the last minute to do something and kind of blame it on, say, something that wasn't working right, we're going to investigate. Well, this person logged in at 11:59, something was due at midnight. Just kind of keep that in mind. So where are we located? Actually, let me jump back to the previous slide. So if you have any questions regarding Canvas, you can email lmshelp@middlesexcc.edu. They are pretty quick. They'll get back to you. They are typically staffed Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock to 5:36-ish, I think. And they can kind of help you out. And then for us, they're kind of a tier 1 support. And if there's something that they can't solve, they forward it on to us. We're the Department of eLearning. We're in Center 3 over here in the Edison main campus. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. If you want to stop by, I have a cool pop collection here behind me. I'm a big Star Wars geek. Hey, if you want to see it, stop on by. I'd be more than happy to show you. We can be reached at 732-906-2514. And then our email is elearning@middlesexcc.edu. That comes directly to me, Maria, and Christine. They're the 3 of us who kind of support eLearning here. I think that might be it with my presentation. Yes. So hopefully that was painless. And now I'm going to jump into Canvas. So for those of you who have, who have not gone into Canvas just as of yet, let me pull this up here. So basically, if you come into Middlesex's main webpage, Middlesex. So those of you who are familiar with Middlesex's main webpage, if you go in here to My MCC, that kind of takes you into kind of all the tools and the apps that you would need here at Middlesex. Like I said, you get Office 365 for Outlook and everything like that. You have your NetID, Web Advisor, all that stuff. You have access to the library, the bookstore, directory if you need to reach out to someone, say me, I'm Michael Sullivan, request a transcript and so on. This is kind of where you do it. Any kind of announcements are located here. And then where we're going to go is we're going to click on Canvas. So typically you would log in with your NetID, the same ID you would use for Outlook to access Canvas. So the screen looks the same. It's because we kind of are striving for single sign-on. So if you know your Middlesex ID, I think it's like, say, Sullivan, msullivan1234 at my.middlesexcc.edu, and then your password. That's how you would log in. So this is typically the screen that you would see. So unfortunately, because I have a fictitious student, I have to do kind of a backdoor way to get in. So I'm technically logged in right now. So upon logging in, what happens is you come into what is called your dashboard here. If there are any kind of important announcements up here, what we do is we post to what's called a global announcement. So what we deem as kind of important was, say, our online orientations, right? So we put the info right up here. We could also put information, say, I know like last week there was someone out on the loose that the cops were looking for. We could post an announcement up here regarding that, or say maybe in some cases the college is closed, we could post it up here as well. Or say if Canvas is going to be down, say Sunday night at 11 to 12, we'll put the notification up here as well. So also on the right-hand side, you have a to-do list. This is kind of like a running list as far as if you have any work that's upcoming or due. It gives you a listing or a heads up, a bird's eye view of everything that's kind of coming up with all the courses that you have. On the left-hand side here, what we have is kind of what we call global navigation. In here, you have kind of your account information. Your account, you can put an avatar up here to represent yourself. Unfortunately, this person has not. The person who I'm logged in is named Anita Looksy. Hold on, looking like, okay. So in there, basically, you can kind of put your avatar. You can put, if there's a forwarding email that you don't want to use, kind of if you want information sent up, you can click in there and you can kind of set your information up as well. If you want to link Canvas to your OneDrive, you would do it in my account, in your account settings as well. So also in here, you have your course list. This gives you a full listing of all the courses you might have taken, the history of all the courses you've taken at Middlesex. In some cases, if you don't see a course, if you want to see a course on your dashboard or whatnot, you have all courses here. You can kind of star whatever you want to see on your dashboard. This, the stars, I kind of think of the star belly sneeches. I have no idea why, but I do. But you can put a star and say maybe I want to see demo course 1 and Breger. If I star it, come back out to my dashboard. Hopefully I'll see it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is right there. So that's how, if you want to see other courses in here, maybe if you have a previous semester from winter session or fall, and it's not showing up, you can go in there and put a star and hopefully it'll show up in here. So I'm looking here, looking at the text here. Okay, Christine is handling it. Okay. So also in here, you have groups in here. Maybe there might be a group that you're associated with, maybe AP Bio group or Bio group or Anatomy and Physiology group, or say Student Life, or any other kind of group that you're associated with. You can click in here and it would show up here in a list. That way it's not kind of hogging up your dashboard space. You would just click into that group and you can kind of visit it that way. Next, you have your calendar here. If you have any kind of assignments that are coming up or whatnot, if you click on your calendar, it'll come up. There's your calendar here. If you notice here, you have a breakdown. Some stuff is coming up here, any kind of assignments. You can click into that to visit your assignment. Also, in your list here, all the courses that you're associated with will show up here, and everything is color-coded. You can actually send this out to iCal if you want, or Google Calendar. Put this link in here and add it to your feed. That way, any kind of dates that are coming up, you can kind of keep track of on your regular calendar on your phone if you wanted to. So that's the calendar. If I go back here to global navigation, I'm just going to click back on dashboard. Next, what we have is your inbox. So not to be confused with Outlook, your inbox is kind of housed within Canvas. Your inbox is if you need to message your instructor or maybe a peer or classmate or whatnot. That way there's no email address you have to remember or anything like that. I click into the inbox. I can select what course I want to do I want to see here, my inbox. In this case here, oh geez, I have so much in here. I click into here. I might not have anything in here, but if I want to compose a message, there's a little pencil here. If I click on that, I can click to, maybe if I want to do, if I knew my instructor's name or whatnot, if I didn't know it, there's a little book here that lets you see everyone associated in your class. So in this case here, if I want to type, say, Michael Sullivan, here's a message here, subject, course questions, and then you can just type your message in here. I have a question, yada, yada, yada. If you notice, again, there is no kind of, HTML editor where you can bold, underline, bullet anything out. It's straight up text. And then if you want to send an attachment, you can. So bear in mind, this is a lot different than Outlook. Outlook has a lot more bells and whistles. And when you're using Outlook, you can think outside. Outlook is outside. So if you need to contact, say, the dean, maybe the registration, the registrar, maybe the library, whatnot, think outside of Canvas. Outside equals Outlook. Canvas equals course. So everything is inside. So that's that information.
It's been a stressful morning.
It really has been.
If you can mute your mic, that would be awesome. So in there,
okay,
also,
some of you don't have your mics muted. If you just point to the
so
lower left-hand corner, you can mute your mic, and then it won't interrupt the discussion.
Thank you, Christine.
Sorry, Mike.
And then also you have access to your library in here. And so also you have access to my MCC as well. So in this case here, I'm going to click back in the dashboard. And me being a big Star Wars geek, I'm going to click in here into the online orientation for spring. And so here, when you come into your course, you have kind of your very first, thing that you'll see. In most cases, hopefully, your instructor has set it up kind of, hey, welcome to this course. My name is Joe Smith, and here's where the syllabus is, yada, yada, yada. Here's how you can reach out to me, and so on and so forth. This is the course homepage right here. So hopefully, any kind of relevant information will be housed right here. The meat and potatoes of your course are housed in the modules. If you don't like meat and potatoes and you're a vegan, you can say lettuce and tofu of your course, but the heart and soul of your course is here in modules. In the modules area here is kind of where all of your course material resides. So in here, a module can equal maybe 1 week's worth of work. Module 1 could be, say, from Sunday to Saturday of next week. It depends on whatever your instructor kind of picks out. So in this case here, I'll kind of go through what typically an instructor should have in their online class. But you have, say, Module 1, you have your introduction, a little bit of intro as far as what I'm going to be doing for the week. They could say what I need to do for the week as well. Maybe something that covering what we're going over, but here's where they can kind of write up info regarding your course. You have a next button right here. You can go this route if you want, but for me, I always like going back to modules. That way I can kind of have a bird's eye view as to what's coming up, because you don't want to click into a quiz and be like, ooh, okay, I'm running into an issue right there. So in this case, I'm going to click on modules. Next thing, I have a link here. My instructor is showing me a video, the original Star Wars trailer. Yay, that's pretty cool. So you could have a video in here your instructor might want you to see, and maybe for an upcoming test, you might have to kind of remember some stuff, some key points within, say, the video. In this case, I go back to modules, and then in here I might have a document or a file, Star Wars Popular Culture, which is a PowerPoint, which takes forever to load. I should probably clean this out here. But in here, the cool thing is you don't need, say, PowerPoint or Word to view any kind of files. Your instructor posts stuff here. Here's a PowerPoint here. I can kind of go through if I want to. If I want to download it, I can right here as well. So that would be kind of a PowerPoint your instructor would use. Next, in the area of modules here, I say I have a discussion forum. So I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier. The discussion forum is kind of your instructor asking you a question and you raising your hand in class. Well, in the online environment, if an instructor asks you a question in the discussion forum, you can't really sit here and raise your hand in front of your computer because you're going to look kind of funny. So in here, your instructor writes kind of a point here. Who shot first after viewing A New Hope? Why do you think George Lucas edited the scene to where Greedo shoots first? Please be sure to compose a well-thought-out response, so on and so forth, and due dates, Sunday night at 11:55 p.m. So the cool thing is here, when you do have a discussion forum post, you want to kind of take into account the readings that you've done. So what you can do is you can click on reply, and you simply don't want to just say, I agree, and then that's it, because that's a horrible discussion forum post. Basically, you're going to say, well, I agree for this because yada, yada, yada. George Lucas decided to make the scene where Greedo shoots first because he wanted to portray Han in more of a positive light, so on and so forth, and then back up your statements with kind of your readings that you've done. In some cases, your instructor will say, I need MLA formatting, and so on and so forth. But make sure, what I typically do for discussion forum, since it is something kind of importance, in some classes it could be weighted heavily, what you can do is maybe start typing it up in Microsoft Word. If it's going to be more than, say, 2 or 3 paragraphs, it's going to be a well thought out response. Type it in Word. That way you can copy and paste it right into here. Because what happens is there is no autosave feature here in the discussion forum. So say you're typing this brilliant kind of response as to why Greedo shoots first now. It's pouring out of your hands. You're typing it. What happens? Say your battery dies on your laptop or whatnot. Unfortunately, there's no autosave. You're going to call me up. I'm going to say, hey, come on in. You're going to come in and we'll just hug it out, because that's all I can do for you. There's nothing I can do if your computer shuts down. So typically, if you are typing something out, do it in Word, copy and paste it into here. That way you have a record of your discussion forum post. And also when you are in the discussion forum, make sure if someone does, say if it's something kind of relevant in today's kind of society, if there's something you agree or disagree about, be nice about it, respectfully disagree. You don't have to sit there and just put someone down or be a bully as to what your opinion is or whatnot. Just, be kind and courteous is the best thing I can kind of explain, because we have had some instances where some people have just been downright mean and rude, and we've had to ban them from Canvas. So please, when you are responding, be thoughtful and, put yourself in that other person's shoes, or treat people how you want to treat people, how you wish to be treated. So that's a discussion forum. Also, no smiley face emoticons, no memes, no GIF files. Just please, you're an academic, institution. Let's be scholarly, okay? Or typing something out, be nice and make it look nice, okay? So next we have in your modules here. So I can just type out this response. This was a great point because I can't type something out. It'll take too long. But once I post the reply here, it becomes threaded here. So, say if someone else wants to reply to this one's post, they click on reply. Oh yeah, you're right. And so on and so forth. You can scroll down here and post reply. And there's a word counter in here. So if someone's looking, if you need 500 words, it shows you in here. Trust me, I took classes once myself. So that's a discussion forum in a nutshell. Your instructors can grade off the discussion forum. I think it does work in the mobile realm as well. So, you know, there have been some cases where I had to been at my son's soccer practice, and if I'm responding to a paper, I can actually do it on my cell phone. Just be well thought. Make sure it's thought out, and you know, grammar correction and everything. You're not going to have that if you were to do it in Word. So next in my modules area, I have a weekly reaction paper. You know, what would college be if we didn't have to type a paper, right? So in this case here, if you notice I have a due date. It'll show you when the due date is for your paper. It'll say how many points it's worth and how you're supposed to submit it. So it could be a file upload, say a Word document. So in this week's module covered episode 4. Please compose a 3-page paper identifying which character you associate yourself with the most. Provide reasons why, yada yada. Must be in 12-point Arial font, not 12.5, not 12.75. I've been there before. I know what it's like. You have to kind of get as much space as you possibly can. So in this case here, what I want to do is say I've typed up my paper in Word. Nice, beautiful paper. It's great. I love it. If I click on Submit Assignment right here, it'll give me an option. So if you've linked your Office 365 account here, you can search in the clouds. A good example is if you're at a computer lab, and it's, oh, I forgot to submit my paper. I can click on this tab here, and I can go to Office 365. But in this case here, I'm at my work computer. I can pick to add a file. So if I click on Choose File, hopefully, let's see, you know, this is just a bad example, but I'm going to say, do I have a Word document? Here's a Word document. I don't know. So in here, and some people instructors are using Turnitin. Turnitin is a plagiarism detection software. So, you know, or, you know, there are some cases where you are working. And you know what? Because we are using Turnitin, it will detect if the paper has been written before. We'll get kind of a feedback score. Red or like 98% or 80% kind of, you know, it calls the instructor into question, and it will show where the points come from that you are grabbing. It'll show what website you pulled it from. So, you know, if you do need filler, hey, you've been online courses before. If you need filler, make sure you cite your resources and you're good to go. Okay, because then you come up with academic integrity. It becomes a whole big process. I've had someone who's kind of copied paper and pasted it, and I kind of had to go through disciplinary hearings for the student. They failed the paper. In some cases, you can fail the course. So bear that in mind. So I have my paper here. I'm going to click on Submit Assignment. And I have to click on I agree. I agree. And if you notice too, you know, your paper is here. If you don't see anything here, it means you haven't attached your paper. So I click on Submit Assignment. And here it is. I have a timestamp of when my paper was submitted. I also can download it if I want. So if there's ever a question, if you do not see this, it means you did not submit your paper. Okay, so keep that in mind. So your instructor, you can give your instructor some, you know, full story saying, oh, I submitted it, I swear to God, at 12 p.m. or whatever. Your instructor has kind of back-end analytics. They can kind of see everything. You know, Santa Claus powers, they see you when you're sleeping. No, I'm just kidding. But they can see when you've logged in. So they can sit there and say, well, you've only been logged in for 5 minutes. Really, how much work did you do? So bear that in mind as well. So paper's been submitted. And so let me jump back to modules here real quick. And I have a quiz. So here's a multiple choice quiz I need to take. If I click into it, when I do click into it here, so if you notice, it gives me a due date again. It tells me how many points it's worth. And then it tells you if you have 10 minutes. So my rule of thumb, if you're getting ready to make sure you're not in a kind of a crazy house with kids running around like mine, screaming and crying and whining. Whole of them holding a Nintendo Switch or whatever, kind of going crazy on Super Smash Brothers like my son did yesterday. He was crying because he was losing. So I don't know, going off on a tangent. So in this case here, make sure you're in a quiet environment. If you want like candles, I don't care. You can do something nice. But you can click on Take the Quiz. So once I click on Take the Quiz, it means the quiz has started. So there's no going back, there's no restarting or whatnot. When you click on this, the quiz begins. So bear that in mind. So in the first question here, during the infamous cantina scene, who shot first? It was definitely Han. Obi-Wan Kenobi was played by Sir Alec Guinness. That is true. And then what was Luke's X-wing call sign, and that was red 5. So I take the quiz here. I feel confident. You can always go over your work. You have 10 minutes, and then you can click on Submit Quiz. So in this case, I got a score of 3 out of 3. First attempt, got everything right. Yay. So everything is good there. So usually your instructor will give you an option. You can only take the quiz once, but in some cases, you can take the quiz again and get a better score if you want. I got 3 out of 3, so I don't need to do so. So I jump back into modules here. So I basically kind of completed the module here for module 1. I'm not going to go into module 2, but again, you have like discussion forum posts and so on and so forth. So usually there's kind of a formula your instructors kind of follow, a weekly formula. You know, the first week or 2 is you getting acclimated to Canvas. So yeah, just play around with it. Usually you can't really break anything, so I wouldn't worry. Next thing is if you have any grades, your grades are right here. Just real quick too, your assignments are kind of linked into your modules. So this is kind of just redundancy. If you want to just see your assignments, you can click in here. Announcements, if your instructors have any announcements, they'll typically show up in your course homepage as well. These are old announcements which I forgot to enable, but your instructor can go in, and it's slow. It's like me this morning today. And since it's not going to come up, it's fine. So I know most of you want to see your grades. If you click into the grades area here, it'll give you a whole listing as far as all your grades that come out here. You can do predictive grading. Well, maybe I need like, 50 points to get a C in the class for the semester or whatnot. Yeah, you can do that if you want. It's up to you. You can also calculate based on only graded assignments, a what if kind of scores to know how your grades will be affected. But here's kind of all of your assignments here. You can see all the grades that you've received. You can see here comments that your instructors might have left as well for your assignments. So I'm trying to see where the one discussion forum I did was. Here's a discussion forum that I did. Your instructor could leave a comment in here if they wanted to, but here's your grade, a 98 out of 100. So that's basically how you would view all of your grades within your course. Everything's listed here. It'll tell you the status if something's missing, if something's late. Be mindful, be sure you kind of complete all of your assignments on when everything is due, because on the instructor side of things, it will actually show up if something is late. It's a big late in like red letters, so they'll know right away if something is not kind of handed in. You can print everything out if you want to keep a running total. So that's kind of it with grades and everything like that. So that kind of, I think I've kind of covered everything in regards to, what you'll typically see when you do take an online course. If you have any questions or anything like that right now, probably would be the best time to ask now. At this point, if you see everything, if you're comfortable or whatnot, you're free to go. I appreciate you guys kind of staying here.
Hey, Mike.
Everything. But here at this point now, we can kind of answer any questions that you have.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Why don't you go over if they have any problems with Canvas?
Okay, yes. So thank you, Christine. If there are any problems with Canvas, if you're having any issues, you have a little help button right here. If you click on the help button, you can go to where it says report a problem. In the subject area here, you can maybe say assignment not submitting, I don't know, something like that. And then you can give a description as far as what's going on, what's happening. Be as descriptive as possible. Don't give a one-word sentence, can't log in or can't do something or whatnot, because then we're going to have to spend more time coming back saying, well, what's wrong, what happened? And so, be as descriptive as possible with the description. Let us know, as much detail as you possibly can give us. And then down here where it says, how is this affecting you? If you click on the drop arrow, extreme critical emergency, 9 times out of 10, 9.5, 9 times out of 10, that usually indicates if something is broken, something is really broken. What happens is that sends a net message to me as well as people at Canvas. So everyone, alarms are going off, stuff's going crazy. So I would, something is not extreme critical emergency if you're submitting something late, if something's not popping up. Usually you can just say, I cannot get things done until I hear back from you. Something is broken. We do see everything that comes in. Trust me, we treat everything like it's an emergency. So, but this is like a big flag. Something has to be really wrong with Canvas Something has to be really broken in order for this one to be selected. So that's how you would submit something. And this is a test. IT don't respond. Let's see, this is, how is this affecting me? Just a casual question, comment, or I can submit the ticket. But if I click on help again, you can ask your instructor a question. What happens is you're in your course right now, it keeps track. So if you say you're looking at something and you don't want to jump out of whatever you're in, you can click on help and ask your instructor a question. And the message is right here. You can type your instructor a question and it'll show up on their message where they can respond to you as well. And they'll know who it is. So also there's announcements if anything's popping up. If we made any kind of announcements, we keep an archive here. So, and then guides for students. Maybe you have a question on how to do something, how to submit a paper, whatnot. You can get info and instructions right here.
Okay, Mike, we have a question. Someone missed where you type in your assignments.
Okay, so if you want to say submit an assignment, you would jump over here to the modules area. Modules, again, is the heart and soul of your course. Meat, potatoes, lettuce, and tofu, whatever you want to call it. So in here, an assignment I have right here is, say, Module 1, weekly reaction paper. In this case, let me jump down here to Module 2. Here's a paper as well. So if I click into here, your instructor has here a 500-word essay. Please compare and contrast, yada, yada, yada. It tells you, gives you a little bit of description as far as what you need to do. So in this case here, I've already submitted one assignment, but I can click to resubmit the assignment right here. And this button would typically say if there was no assignment submitted, it would just say submit assignment. So if I click in here, I can do a file upload. So I can choose the file right here. I'm running out of Word documents to submit. I'll send an image file, why not? So my file's right here, and then what I can do if I have any comments, maybe I could say this was a great assignment. Yeah, right. But in here, you can kind of just give a little brief kind of overture, like what you think. Maybe I had a hard time with this, whatnot. Don't type your whole paper in here. You will drive your instructor bonkers, okay? You have a file here that you upload the file right here. And then from there, you put a check in the box where it says, I agree. And then you can submit your assignment right here. And then also, too, you will get notified from Canvas for 3 different things. You'll get notified if you get anything graded, if there's an announcement from your instructor, or if there is a message from your instructor. You'll automatically get notifications from Canvas in that regard.
Hi again, Mike. Could you let them know what to do when they are finished using the computer, particularly when they're on campus?
Yes, good point. Thank you, Christine. So basically, if you are done using Canvas, say maybe you don't want to have your brother or your sister, maybe they don't like you at the time, they might maybe mess things up or sabotage things for you. Or if you're in a computer lab, usually your best bet to log out of Canvas, you'll need to log out of Canvas. If you click here where it says account, you have a log out button right here. You would click on that, and there you go. It logs you out of your Canvas here. I'm going to jump back in the back doorway here. So this is not a screen you guys would typically see. If I remember my password here. Yay. Okay, so any other questions?
I think that's about it. You went over everything very well, and we had quite a few participants.
Cool. Smash Brothers, yes. My sons go crazy on that. My son who's happy he was Little Mac. Finally got that character. Don't ask me why. I hear them a lot. That or Fortnite. Part of my life every day.
Okay, we had a couple more questions come in. How do I link Cengage with Canvas?
Okay, so with Cengage and Canvas, what happens? Let me see if I can kind of explain this a little bit. Do I have an English course in here? Do not have an English course in here. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Courses. English, English, English. There's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, I do not have an English course example. So what happens basically in the English course within your modules area, let me just jump back in here real quick. What happens is on the left-hand side of modules, if you click in here, there'll be a link, it'll say something with Cengage or whatnot, especially for English. You would click in there, and what will happen is it'll ask you to, as long as you have the book, it'll ask you for the code that you need to put in, as well as, you log in. But I would strongly suggest logging in with your Middlesex ID and password, or when you create your account with the Cengage materials, log in with your Middlesex information, because what will happen is that'll create a handshake between Canvas and your Cengage materials where you don't ever have to kind of key it in ever again. If you were to use something, say, like Mike Sullivan at Outlook.com, what will happen is then it becomes a problem, because then you're always going to have to log in. I'm reading questions now too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We have, they switched classes and they can't see their new courses.
Okay. So if you switch classes, say today, maybe say an hour or two ago, what happens is there's only about, there's a feed from Colleague or WebAdvisor that goes into Canvas about 2 or 3 times a day. So what happens is, say if you registered an hour ago, usually the feed time is around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. And then from there, probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock, try to log in. And then you should see the one course you dropped and then the new course that you've been added to. But unfortunately, it's not instantaneous. But if you've done it like a couple days ago, then yeah, definitely reach out to us or reach out to the registrar, and we'll do our best to help you out in that regard.
Okay, someone asked, does it matter if you start with the week's quiz, assignment, or discussion first?
That's ultimately up to you. I mean, usually your instructor will kind of release everything all at once for the week. So, I mean, it's basically, I would probably just go into each assignment and see what the due date is, and then kind of go from there. If something's due, say, maybe Wednesday, say maybe a discussion forum post, an initial post is due, say, Wednesday, you probably want to do that first, do your initial post, and then say if a paper is coming up or whatever, you can start doing it, say, Friday, Saturday, or whatnot. It's totally up to you. It's whatever you think you can handle, how, that's in the time allotted kind of coming up.
Someone asked if they can watch the videos over again.
Absolutely, yes. The videos are kind of left out there. Ultimately, the only thing your instructor can really shut down, well, they can shut down everything, but usually what they'll do, if they do it, they'll close the module down. So say maybe module 1, you have till, say, Sunday of next week till 11:59 or 11:58 p.m. After that time passes, the module might shut down where you no longer have access to it. But in between, though, you'll definitely be able to view videos as many times as you want. You'll be able to access all the content as many times as you want up until that point in time. There's Michaela in here, and you spell it like my daughter spells it, M-I-K-A-E-L-A. All right. Well, you have 2 L's, sorry. Close, though.
That looks like all the questions for now.
What about the CSC course here?
That was the videos, if they wanted to watch them over again.
Oh, okay. I taught CSC 105. Usually, yeah, everything kind of stays in there until the instructor closes it out. I know the book uses McGraw-Hill Connect. It's a good product, actually. You can kind of go through and do your work. And that does the same thing as Cengage. It does like a handshake with Canvas as well as SimNet. So you can just kind of go in through Canvas and access all of your content from there.
Well, Mike, thank you. That was an excellent presentation. I think everyone had all their questions answered.
Cool. All right.
Oh, we got another one. Let's see. When are courses published?
Okay. So this is kind of a really, it's basically instructor prerogative. An instructor can choose to publish a course maybe a week or 2 before the class starts. That way you can kind of see your course materials if you want to. But then again, I've had some instructors or professors that would wait to the day of course the class starting to open anything up. If you're unable to see anything, Leah, right now, I would probably reach out to us, or if you can type in the course name, we can kind of research it, as well as your email address. We can take a look and see, what's going on with the course. How to see a list of students in class. Good one, Kathy. You can actually see your students in your course. Unfortunately, the instructor in this course has chosen not to kind of do a listing of your peers in your class, but you can, let me see if I can jump to another class right here. Let's say Canvas Support Center. Nope, bad example. Demo student course. Okay. In some cases here in your course menu system here, you'll have an option that says people. In the people area, if you click on it, you'll see the list of everyone in your course here. And then what you can do is, say if you want to reach out to someone in your course, you can click on the name of the person. Come on. Really slow today. You get the info here that you want. And usually what will happen is you can actually, it'll give you an option if you want to message that person if you want. Okay, I'll tell you what, since we're in here, we'll see if the course is officially published or not. You'll be able to see the backdoor way that we're able to access things in Canvas here. Let me log out of here real quick. This is Canvas. Okay, so if I go over here into, well, you don't have this option. Let's look up the course here. SP, ENG, ENG 121. 121-IN2. That's what spring. Okay, so I can tell you right now the course is not published, because what will happen is there'll be like a little green check mark right here. So what we can do is we can reach out to your instructor and let them know that the course is not yet published, and kind of handle that for you. So I would probably suggest after we email the instructor, maybe wait an hour or two and see if maybe they publish the course. What will happen is when they do, it will pop up in your dashboard.
I can take care of that as soon as we're finished.
Cool. Yeah, Leah, don't fret. Just bear in mind too, if the course is unpublished, your other classmates cannot see it as well. So, it's not just you going through the issue right now, it's all of your classmates. So don't worry. Yeah, we're not here to leave anyone out to the sharks or anything like that. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, we'll definitely, if you want to stop by, if you want to email us, we can definitely help you out. We'll do everything we can to help you out. Our job is support and service, and we want to make sure you guys are taken care of as best as possible.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us, and we are finished with our presentation.
Cool. Thank you everyone. It's been a pleasure, and have a great semester. And again, we're here to help you out no matter what. Let us know if there's any way we can help you out. We'll do our best to assist you in any way humanly possible. So thank you everyone, and have a good day. Let me figure out how to shut this down. And meeting. So goodbye everyone. Thank you so much, and have a great semester.